Alright, so my son deleted the first video, but I went ahead and marked the under layer of this hem, and later on I'll show you how to pin a hem. But I just put a chalk mark on either side of the pin all the way around. This dress has a slit in it, so actually not all the way around. My last pin is on the side seam right there. So normally I would mark the hem and then cut it, but I don't know how to mark on this stuff unless I use a Sharpie, which I could do. I've done that before, but you can kind of see the curve here. So I'm going to cut on this invisible line. I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to fan this out. Okay. I'm going to flip my, I forget what this is called. I think it's like a hip curve or something like that. French curve, maybe. So, sorry, you had to see my junk. There's my imaginary curve again. I'm just going to cut along that, and then it'll be done. I went a little high right there, but there's nothing I can do about it now. So this is going to drag in the back, this dress is. Gotta showcase those a little bit. Alright, I'll show you the next step. The hem is cut. My next step is to remove the pins and then cut along these lines. See how it's like really jagged. So I'll fan this all out and then make a, this is the lining, so I'll make that straight, and then I don't know if you can tell, but I tapered it back again with the hip curve or the French curve, whatever it's called. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to flip it over, take out the pins, and cut along this line. If you're not good with scissors, you can lay it out flat on the table and put your French curve there and mark the whole thing and give yourself a nice, I'd have to use both hands, but eventually I'll be able to do that when I put the phone down. So you know what I mean though. Draw your line and then cut it. Alright, so I decided to cut another hem instead of to finish that one because it's just easier to do right now. So this is a horsehair hem. It's got this thick band of horsehair, probably about 2 inches wide. So I have to figure out how long I'm going to cut this off before I try to sew that back on, which would be a completely different video, unfortunately, the way I'm organizing them. So yeah, I'm just going to fold the pin down, and I'm going to use this line right here, which is not quite a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to go a little bit below it. So it's like 3/8. I need it to be a half or more in order to redo what they have done here. So I'm gonna cut along this line, right about there, all the way across. And on this one I pinned the layers separately, so that's gonna help me out a lot. It takes a little bit longer during fitting, but it saves time right now. Okay, so I'm not sure how many hems I'm cutting in this video, but at least you'll get to see a few different types of hems and some very pretty fabrics. Alright, thanks for staying tuned. Here is the remnants of what I just cut off, this second blue dress here. First blue dress, second dress. So since I don't have any of this horsehair on hand, especially not in blue, I'm gonna have to peel all this off. So I have a razor blade nearby that I'm going to just begin to peel all that off so I can reuse the horsehair. And then secondly, I'm going to, typically I would mark right here with some white chalk. I want to cut along this line this time. For the outer layer, we cut along this line near the pin, the edge of the pin, and I'm going to flip it the other way and I'm going to cut this. And I've got 2 layers pinned here. So if you want to mark your layers separately so your hem turns out better, you can. But I'm just going to cut them together and then go back and fix it. Now, the layers are supposed to be one slightly shorter than the other. I'm really not going to worry too much about that this time. I'm just going to cut them. And maybe on the inner layer I'll fold it a little more, a little wider when I do the hem. It will look something like that, hopefully, when I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. And there may or may not be more after this.